As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
There's no crying in baseball!
I ate his liver with some fava beans. A nice cliente.
That was totally wicked!
If I can change, and you can change, everybody can change!
And welcome to another episode of Your Next Favorite Movie. I'm your host, Josh G. And today I have not one but two guests. They are the co-directors on FredHeads, the documentary. Please welcome Paige Troxell.
Hi, how are you guys?
And Kimberly Gunzinger.
Hello.
So I'll let whoever wants to go first, but I want you guys to talk about FredHeads a little bit.
Yeah, so FredHeads is a documentary that is about the fandom of A Nightmare on Elm Street. And so it is made for the fans, by the fans. And it deals with our love of this franchise, but also finding a community and home.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up right there. I mean, we our group of friends, we got together because of our love for Nightmare on Elm Street and the convention scene. So it was really important to us to, tell the story that so many of us kind of share together, all meeting randomly, living in different places in the United States, just because we went to, horror conventions because of our love for Nightmare on Elm Street. So we found a lot of inspiration, and through the community itself, just, like a family. So we really wanted to share that story with everyone.
Okay, so obviously I came to know you guys through Anthony Brownlee, who, if you're listening, you would have just heard him last week when this comes out. And yeah, I've had him on, I think 5 or 6 times now, and he's been working on this the whole time. So like, when did this journey start exactly? Like to making this documentary?
So we made a film together in 2016, and then at the end of 2016, beginning of 2017, we started talking about launching this project. I saw a documentary about another fandom, and I was like, why are we not telling this story? Like, why are we not telling the nightmare side of it? Like, we know the fan story. And so I said to Kim and Deandra and Anthony, I was like, why don't we make like FredHeads? Why don't we do it about our community? And so I think we started in 2016 was when we started really like talking about it. And then when we launched with submissions in the beginning of 2017. And then that was then the gates unflooded, and it was amazing because we got all these amazing submissions and started hearing all these stories from people. And then it took us a long time to make the film. We were in production for about 3 or 4 years before we started editing. And then Kim and I sat down and edited for like a year and a half, I would say. And long hours editing sessions, many sleepless nights, and many different versions of FredHeads there are out there. But we finally got with what we have now, and we're extremely proud of it.
Yeah, like Paige said, we were overwhelmed with as many stories and submissions that we had. And it wasn't just, online submissions that we wanted to take. We only really launched that because we knew there was no way we could reach every single Nightmare on Elm Street fan that was out there. Of course, we wanted to, but I mean, it's an international phenomenon. And, we only had so much that we could do ourselves travel wise. So we tried to hit as many conventions as we could. But we really wanted to kind of pull from that bigger, pool of fans, so everybody could be represented.
Absolutely. So why don't you guys tell everyone where they can find it, the easiest way to access it?
Yeah, so right now you can purchase a physical copy on Amazon. You can also purchase a digital copy or rent it there. And then our favorite thing is you can watch it for free on Tubi. Like, you can watch it on Tubi right now for free. And then any information anybody wants to know, you can just head on over to FredHeadsDoc.com, and that leads you to all of our stuff.
Yeah, just remember the versions online do not have the fun special features that we had. There's some fun special features that only available on the DVD. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yes.
Okay, well, since you brought that up, I'm going to ask this: is there any chance for a Blu-ray coming?
Oh man. So we hope that there's going to be a Blu-ray coming. We're not in charge of any of that. That's our
Right.
distribution company, and so we only have so much say. We can say like we would love a Blu-ray, but our biggest thing is if the fans keep expressing they want a Blu-ray, it's going to show the interest to them. And I know they're working on doing some international stuff. They have the international rights as well, and I think they were kind of trying to package all of that together. But in the meantime, we're working on some extra features. So that way, if they do have a Blu-ray, we can say, hey, here are these extra bonus features that you can put on the Blu-ray and entice the fans to grab that copy.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I definitely want the Blu-ray. Physical media person, I want the
Me
Blu-ray.
too.
All right. I think we're going to transition to the movie we're going to talk about tonight.
Okay.
Let's go back. Oh, I did not look up the year. I know it's in the 80s. Do you know what exactly?
89.
80, okay, right at the end. And we're going to
Yeah.
be talking about Teen Witch.
Yep.
All right. So, Paige, I'll start with you. When did you first see Teen Witch?
Man, I was a kid and I was just thinking this the other day because I was talking to Kim and I was like, you should show it to so and so. And she's like, I can't, it's PG-13. And I was like, oh, it's PG-13? Like, I remember watching it when I was like 7 years old. Like, I have a lot of older cousins. And so a lot of my older girl cousins were obsessed with this movie. And from it, like, I was always in the room watching. So I was a kid. I think I was like maybe 6 or 7 years old. And I was instantly like hooked.
Yeah, I mean, I was 8 when it came out, so I know I definitely saw it before I was 13. And I don't remember where, but I know it came on somewhere, and it was one of those movies you just kind of like, at least for a kid, instantly got hooked on. The music was fun. Even going back and watching it, it's funny how they portray, I guess, the early rap genre that was coming out at that time. It's a little cheesy, but it's still so much fun. But yeah, I remember watching that pretty early on, and just like I said, instantly loving it. It was always a cult classic. So,
Well, based on those two stories, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but I watched this one for the first time earlier this year. But we sat down and watched as a family because it was my wife's one of her childhood favorites as well.
nice.
In fact, she would have been 8 when it came out as well. So she was born the same year as you, I guess. So, but we showed our 13-year-old who fits the age, 10-year-old, and our 6-year-old. So I don't know. we were like, you know what? And it's funny because we'll show them stuff from the 80s and we're like, well, this PG-13 hits different than it does now. These PG-13s can have a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
I was a little shocked. It's been about, I'd say 6 months to a year since I've like watched it, and I've never like broken it down. And I was watching it, was like, man, like this sex ed scene, like how did I not catch that as a kid? Like as a kid, like I didn't realize, like I was like, oh, or the like implied sex scene that like doesn't happen but does kind of. I was like, well, I can't believe my parents let me watch this all the time.
Well, I think that's kind of like a double-edged sword, because in a way, when you're too young, you're not gonna understand that. Like I was more worried about my 13-year-old son, because I'm like, oh, he is picking up on this and exactly what's going on, versus my younger ones who didn't understand it, and they were just like, well, what they didn't understand, so it didn't matter. My 13-year-old picked up on it very quickly, and I was like, maybe he's the one that should be watching this.
Yeah, I definitely didn't pick up on the things as a kid, as and you go back and watch it as an adult. It's quite amusing. So, I don't know. I made my fiance watch it for his first time. I think he just rolled his eyes most of the time. Just like, wow, is that really how they portrayed us in the 80s?
Oh, when I first watched it, I loved it. I watched it again the other night, just a refresher, but I watched it earlier this year, and I was like, this may be like the most 80s movies ever. There's so many random dance numbers and everything else. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
The dream sequence in the beginning, like it's like the perfect, like it's a perfect cheesy 80s comedy. It
Yep.
has everything in it. It even has like Zelda Rubinstein in it, which she's
Oh.
my favorite character in the entire film. Is her, yes, I just love it so much. But it's just perfect. Like even the brother with like the dog, where he gets turned into a dog, and like throughout the thing, it's like the
Right.
running thing where he like wolfs and barks. Like it's perfect 80s. I love it.
Yeah, that's my favorite scene is when she turns her brother into a dog. And he's like, I'm a dog.
Yeah, that was great. So for anyone that may have not seen Teen Witch, why don't you tell everyone what it's about? Whoever wants to take it.
Paige, I think you should take it.
All right. Louise Miller, on her 16th birthday, learns that she is a teen witch. And while she learns that she has this great ability, there comes power with it. In the beginning, she does fun little things where she plays tricks on her classmates, but soon she realizes she wants to be the most popular girl. And so her and her mentor come up with a spell where she meets a Madonna knockoff character, and then she becomes the most popular girl. And then it's not what she wants. And in the end, there's this beautiful message about being who you are and loving who you are. And people should love you for that. Hijinks and all sorts of 80s fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty much.
That pretty much sum it up.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny because like Paige and I have a lot of movies that we like, but there's a lot of movies we are drastically different. And this is one movie we both could actually agree on. So
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons we chose it. It was like no contest. Like, oh, that is Teen Witch. We even had a chance to meet Robin Lively for both our first times at a convention. And Paige actually made her like a little Teen Witch doll. It was super cute, and I seemed to really like it. And I don't know, she was really nice, and it was a lot of fun to finally meet the Teen Witch.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew Robin Lively from Karate Kid Part 3 growing up, not this, but I think watching this, I think my biggest surprise was that the rival girl, the guy she likes girlfriend, was the sister in the Monster Squad, and I had never seen her in anything else. So so I was like, oh, nice. It's good to see her in something else. I didn't know she did anything else, honestly.
You know, the cool thing about this film is there's a lot of that type of stuff. Even her dad is Dick Sargent, who is, you know,
Bewitched.
Darren Stevens from
Right.
Bewitched. And so there's a lot of like fun, cool like elements about it.
Yeah, and one of the popular girls, one of her friends or cronies, whatever you want to call it, she was actually in Can't Buy Me Love, which also kind of dealt with the like 80s and the being popular, not being popular. So it seems to be like a running theme of the 80s of like being popular in school.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
All right, now, because we don't get into the spoiler-filled version of these movies, these are introductions. Now we get into the fun stuff. And that would first starting off with, if you had gotten a sequel, you could either do it back then in the 80s or do a current day sequel, however you want to take this question. What would you guys like to have seen?
I already know. I want to see about her daughter. Like, I think that it needs to be her daughter's 16th birthday, and she's hiding this secret from her. And her daughter finds out and doesn't tell her. And then she finds out and is like, oh my gosh, and all sorts of stuff happens. But I think it should be about her kid.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, it not only does it make sense like a script wise, but it would be fun, and you could bring back, you know, original characters from, you know, the beginning. Did she marry the hunk or did she not? You know, like so many things you could do with it that would just be a lot of fun. And I think the fans would enjoy it, you know, and it would also be able to reach a whole new like audience. So I don't know.
They're doing it with Freaky Friday. They're doing a new Freaky Friday. Why not do a new Teen Witch?
That is fair, and that would work. That would be a good idea to carry it on in a logical way, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go with something we do see a lot of, and that are the remakes. And how would you cast this thing if you had to cast it with today's people, though?
Oh God.
I don't know any young actors.
I know I'm old.
I just did this for my TikTok where I was like, I'm gonna recast A Nightmare on Elm Street and like do like a prequel where I'm like casting the younger age of the actors, and I ended up casting actors who are in their 40s and 50s, and I'm like, they can't play 20-year-olds. Like, I don't know, I don't know a whole lot of younger actors. I think the only one I really know is like Millie Bobby Brown, I think, or from Stranger Things.
I was gonna say, it's funny you say that, because anytime I have someone get on here and it's a younger cast, and they're like, I don't know young actors, just someone from Stranger Things. That's like the go. That's the go-to.
I need to expand my repertoire. No, there's a girl who I think who could totally pull it off. Have you guys ever seen that movie To All the Boys I Love? It's a Netflix series movie.
I have not, but my wife has. I have not watched it myself.
The main girl in there, she started another series called Boo Bitch, and it's a comedy. It's a horror comedy on Netflix, and she's hilarious in it. And I feel like she would be somebody who could be good to take over the Teen Witch role, but I don't even know if she might be in her 30s too. I don't know. But
that I do not know. Kim, you got anybody?
I have no idea. I think it would be easy to cast, though. I mean, I don't think, I think there's a lot of candidates out there that would, potentially do well. Unfortunately, names I'm terrible with. I probably should have wrote something down beforehand. But I don't think they would have a hard time casting it. I'd probably be more of a help with the parents or the teachers, the characters.
Hey, we can do that too. Cast the parents. That'll be okay. Gotta have everybody.
Oh, I don't know.
It has to be somebody from like horror witchy royalty, right? So like we could do for the dad. What if we did the devil from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the new Sabrina? The like dad on there, the one who plays her father.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, but like that could tie in because it's Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Her mom could be Melissa Joan Hart.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, but let's be real. It's a remake. We're doing this. What role is Robin Lively coming back to play? They're bringing her in if they do it. You gotta have her in something.
If she's not if it's not her daughter already, then she should definitely be the Zelda character.
Okay.
Or she should be the theater character. The theater one who gives her the necklace.
Yeah.
Because think how cool would that be if she's like Robin Lively's giving her the necklace as passing the torch.
Yep. That works. Yeah, I like that.
So, but hopefully she's the mom and
right.
It's her daughter. So
yeah, that would probably be the way to do it. It would be that requel, if you call it, reboot / sequel. Yeah. So yeah, that would be the way to go with this. All right. Here's what I want you to do, and that is give a final pitch on why someone should take a chance on Teen Witch if they haven't already.
Can you go first?
It's fun. It's lighthearted. You'll walk away just laughing, feeling good about yourself. Like I said, the end, it ends well. And like I said, it's just fun all around with the music, and you'll be laughing the whole time.
Pop some popcorn, sit on the couch, just veg out and watch it on TV. Put it on the big screen. It's on HBO Max, and it's hilarious. It's campy. It's fun. It's endearing. And it's like a little time capsule in an hour and 40-minute movie.
Yeah. Very well said.
Yeah. Just make sure you're keeping up with where it's streaming at the time, because earlier this year it was on Prime, and yes, I rewatched it on Max as well. So
yeah. I own several copies of it. I'm a big physical media fan. I own like the DVD that's signed, and then I have like the Blu-ray, and then obviously I streamed it because it's easier to just pop it on the streamer.
Right. And in reality, if I went through our collection, my wife probably owns this, at least on DVD. I don't think it's one we've upgraded to Blu-ray that I know of, but she probably has a copy of it. But yeah, it's just easier for me to go, no, it's right here. I don't have to go look for it right now.
Yeah.
And it's probably better than the DVD quality anyway at this point. Blu-ray would be different, but the DVD, I don't know about. All right. I think that one's good. Like I said, I knock these out pretty quick most of the time. So
Nice.
why don't you guys take a minute, tell everyone where they can find you, where they can find the doc again, wherever you want to be found, whatever info you want to give out. Paige, take it.
I'll go first. And so you can find me on TikTok at the final girl 13. But it's girl, so instead of an I, it's a U. And then you can find FredHeads on all of the social medias at FredHeads Doc. And then we have our FredHeads.com.
Yep. Unfortunately, I'm not a social media savvy person, so I'm on Facebook. Like I said, I am old. You can find me on Facebook or roaming the halls of some random horror convention. That's usually where I try to do most of my linking up with people. So, yeah.
All right, and everybody go watch FredHeads. Like I said, if nothing else, it is free on Tubi. That is a free option. There's no reason you can't do that. And I said this on Anthony's episode, and I know you said it, but I can't stress enough. It's about the fandom of Nightmare on Elm Street. Some of the reviews I see is like, this didn't add anything new that I didn't learn about the franchise. I'm like, you missed the point. You missed the point of the doc, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I love a good
extensive documentary on the films themselves. Never Sleep Again. It covered everything from A to Z. There was nothing more we could cover. Yep. So we wanted to cover the fans' perspective and how it changed our lives.
And there's some very personal stories in there for sure.
Yeah, there are. It was a very fun journey. And I think that's why we put a warning in the front, is that like it's a fan documentary. It's for the fans and about the fans. And I love constructive criticism, but it's hilarious when they try to compare it to Never Sleep Again, because it's like, nothing will ever compare. Like no doc after Never Sleep Again will ever compare to it, because it is the definitive documentary. But there are still other stories to tell. There are other stories to tell in there. And shifting focus to the fans and the fandom for us was so important, because it gives light to what keeps Freddy alive. And that comes to that saying where, DeAndre says fear keeps Freddy alive, or gives Freddy his strength. Fear gives Freddy his strength, but the fandom is what keeps Freddy alive. And so for us, it's kind of like, that's what we wanted to tell, is this film has changed and shaped so many people's lives, and let's talk about it.
All right. And as always, you can follow me at YNF Movie Pod. I'm pretty much active on Twitter, so just follow that. Available on all the podcast platforms. I mean, if you're listening, hit subscribe wherever you're at right now. We'll be back next week with a new guest and a new movie. Until then, you guys take care, and I will talk to you next time.